And let's jump into the action here between PtitDrogo and MaNa and Protoss versus Protoss. A qualifying match. We're about to qualify a player in a WCS Challenger. How exciting is that? Let's find out. To the top right-hand side, our red Protoss player is PtitDrogo. And to the bottom left, it is the blue Protoss player from Team Liquid, MaNa. What's up, Narwhal SC coming in with the sub. How you doing? Thank you so much for subscribing and supporting the channel. Really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's only Neff says in the chat, I played SC when I was a wee lad, probably about 8 to 9 years old. Got SC2 when Rings was released in the Swarm expansion, but never followed the scene because you were never playing it as much. How do you start and what do you watch? Well, I mean, I'm not going to be too crazy, but honestly, watching WCS and WCS Challenger, which is what you're watching right now, is a good way to start. But because it is the main tournament for foreign players, for non-Korean players. So this is WCS Challenger Qualifiers. This leads into WCS Challenger. And top 4 of WCS Challenger get themselves paid trips to the WCS Circuit event in Austin in June. To give you a bit of context as to what this tournament today is about. Otherwise, I would advise you look out for GSL as the most prestigious Korean tournament. And I mean, again, other big tournaments like IEM, etc. One of the best ways to find events is teamliquid.net. On the right-hand side, there's a calendar. And the calendar will not only list events and when they're happening, the streams will be linked there when they go live. And you will be able to go into the Wikipedia page for every event from there. So you can kind of have a look and be like, oh, well, what is this event? What's it about? What's the prize money? And then it just lets you get the info. So I think that's a really good way to find out more information about, about kind of, getting into the scene. And that's in terms of getting into the scene. If you want to learn how to play, if that's how your question was meant to be, there's a bunch of great YouTubers such as, well, Pig's a great streamer. I mean, streamers as well. Pig, Winter, Loco, all very informative players that help you learn to play the game and really focus on beginner StarCraft sometimes. And that's just off the top of my head. There's a whole ton more, and no insults to anyone I didn't name. Those are just the guys that come off the top of my head because I'm very good friends with them compared to some of the others. Do I like the blue raspberry in all seriousness? Yeah, I love it. I drink my Sneak every day. I genuinely drink the Sneak Energy every single day because it's awesome. I love it. It's really good. It's really good. Devil's Fire for the cheer 4 in the chat saying, just found out I can now watch ads for bits. Thank you so much for that cheer 4. Let's talk a little bit about what happened so far in this PvP. Double gate each is very standard in PvP because if you don't go 2 gates, it's very likely you just straight up die. So 2 gates each is very common, but we have had some different openers. Double Stalker, Double Sentry against Double Adept, Double Stalker. The Double Sentry generally means a faster expand and slightly later tech because you're getting force field energy early. You're putting your gas into sentries here for force fields, etc. and hallucinations to scout, whereas MaNa puts his gas into a Stargate and into Phoenix. And because he has a couple of Stalkers, he's actually going to come across the map here with the Adepts, and he's going to try and poke through for some damage. The Adepts ideally would like to go in towards the mineral line and maybe get something done, but this Probe Patrol in here will put down a shield battery to block that, but he will maybe be able to get a sentry. No, not quite, as the Adepts did commit up the ramp, which is a bit of a mistake, and that sentry is not going to go down. So MaNa loses a couple of these Adepts here, and that is a little bit of a shame. But all said and done, MaNa still does have an advantage, and that is in the form of these Phoenix on the way out. Just one Phoenix now into an Oracle, realizing that it's not an Oracle or Stargate opening, because he's seen the sentries. He knows there's no way Drogo affords a Stargate and this many sentries, and that's why he's been able to, he starts the Oracle now. He started the Phoenix initially because in PvP, if you go Stargate on Stargate, if you go Oracle against Phoenix, you're in a really bad position as the Oracle player, so going Phoenix first is a safety thing, in case it's an opposing Stargate. When it isn't, you can get that Oracle out, and you can start to use that to find some damage throughout this game. But look at this hallucination of Drogo has gotten by, and that's one of the main reasons for getting sentries early in the game, because look at all the information he gets. He sees everything. Stargate making an Oracle, he sees the Robo and the 4 up, and Drogo is in full information mode now. He knows exactly what's going on for the moment. We are going to be seeing the Observer and a Forge on the way up with the +1 here from Drogo. Guys, I'm just going to listen to the stream quickly because people ask about static. Let me just hear and see if I can fix it. Streams will be linked there when they go live. And I don't hear it, guys. It might have just fixed. Sometimes it fixes very like a couple of minutes after the break comes up or finishes up. So it might just be something like that. I think I actually have a good way to fix it that I'm going to try and do now in the future. So maybe I can fix that a little bit more, but I am working on getting rid of that static. I'm just not quite sure what's causing it. Alright, anyways, so back into the action. We do see Twilight Council on the way down from Drogo. So his first real tech choice of the game beyond the Forge and the Robo. I mean, the Robo obviously it's a tech building. Is it really a tech choice? Yes, but he's not really using it to like pump out Immortals or anything. It was just an observer here so far. Keeps him safe against the Dark Shrine. The Twilight Council is much more interesting because it really shows us where Drogo wants to take this game. Does he want to open up Blink and really kind of control the map early? Well, with 7 Stalkers on the map, Blink is a very high possibility rather than rushing up into Charge or something. Although, with +1 already very far along and Immortal production starting up, it is very possible he could go Charge as well. So 2 possibilities. It is kind of late for Blink, but he could still get something out of it. But overall, in terms of a mid-game, Charge is going to go a lot better for him. And it's not like he has a huge amount of these kind of air units to kind of really deal with, in which case Blink might be better overall. As he does push one of those Oracles away with both of those Oracles away very low on health, actually. Sorry. No, this one got away in full health. Wow, I got a little bit lost in myself there. It is Charge from Drogo. I think it was a bit too late to really start investing in Blink. If you want Blink, you need it up early in the game to get value out of Blink, so you can be on the map, so you can poke and prod and pick away at a unit here and a unit there. If you don't have Blink, I don't think there's really much point in doing something like that. So, really kind of, you know, if you don't have Blink early, there's no point in then getting Blink now, because unless there's like still a lot of Phoenix on the map, you're just not going to get the value out of it versus just going straight into Charge and starting to build up that composition, which will be much better throughout the mid-game of this composition. So we are going to be seeing these few Stalkers coming into the center of the map. And it's just Drogo taking a little bit of map control to get his own third Nexus up. MaNa, you can see these guys are kind of in sync as to where they want to be. Third Nexus from MaNa too, and they're both in sync in terms of what they want to do as well. Charge also on the way up from MaNa, and the +2 attack. MaNa generally he has taken a bit of a probe advantage, but has had his tech delayed because he built a couple of Oracles early. And that's the difference between them right now. Drogo's a little bit lower on economy. MaNa's a little bit further ahead, but has a slightly faster, but has slightly later tech structures because of it. And that's basically it. That's kind of a quick summary of the game right now, I suppose, if you're looking for it. As you are going to be seeing some of these units coming through the center, and already the Oracle looking to try and find a little bit more as well. Oracle comes in and packs itself just a single probe. Is actually out of energy. Drogo's going to commit to a bit of an attack here. Only on 43 workers. He's been throwing everything in towards gateways and units. His +2 in charges earlier, so it allows him to attack here a bit earlier on. MaNa just cancels the third Nexus. This is so good though, because Drogo has his own third Nexus, so even if he doesn't win a fight here, he's already forced MaNa to move away from his own third, and that gives Drogo the economic advantage now. As I guess maybe MaNa looks to counterattack, but I don't think MaNa has the units to counterattack successfully or amazingly successfully in comparison to what Drogo just set up here. Because Drogo had everything on his side. He had +2 ready, he had charge ready when MaNa didn't. If MaNa tries to counterattack now with this Prism, he has no advantage. He has the same number of gateways. He has the same upgrades. And he's going to be attacking into Drogo's defensive position, as we are going to be seeing MaNa taking this fight here. Well, Drogo just turns around. It is still an upgrade advantage here for Drogo. The +2 against +1. One of Drogo's Immortals lifted here by this Phoenix. It goes down, and so now the Immortal can come back into play. MaNa turns this away. Drogo turns this away. MaNa with just a lack of anything but Immortals. And Immortals are great, but they do need some kind of support. As we do see these units continue to come down. Just going to be popping up into this position. Sees that probe, but no Nexus, and that's the important part. No Nexus, and that means no reason to be too concerned. No reason for Drogo to push into the 2 bases of MaNa. If you're on 3 bases of your own, why attack into the 2 base player? If MaNa wants to push into his army, sure. And that's the power of Drogo right now. There's nothing across the map to really cause Drogo to go home with his army. So if he can sit here and continue to deny this 3rd base, he's getting further and further ahead because his own 3rd base is just sat here mining away. Okay, he's losing some probes now, and I'd be surprised if that really forced him to pull home, because I think he's just going to kind of suck it up and be like, well, cool, I'm a base ahead. I can afford to lose a few workers. Obviously, at this stage, MaNa's also mining out of the main, so that income advantage is really going to start taking a bit of a dive towards Drogo's favor. This little dip as he pulls away workers, but it's going to get back towards this sort of marker. And that's where Drogo's really going to keep his advantage. And again, Drogo doesn't want to rush into a fight. He's got +3 on the way now. So he's going to have an upgrade advantage yet again. An upgrade advantage that can once more go a long way to helping him out. Well, coming along to this side, we're going to see the rocks going down. That opens Drogo's pathway in towards this 3rd base. Another location you can just push on in towards. as we are going to be seeing a pylon on the way up as well, just next to the Nexus, and a couple of workers going down. This Oracle has found absolute huge value in the game. 14 kills is keeping the worker count somewhat honest, but even the worker count staying the same is not good for MaNa, because again, he didn't have the mineral patches to mine from to mine efficiently, and that's why Drogo has had these bumps of advantage in the last couple of minutes here. MaNa will at least get the third base up now, though, but it's just as the +3 attack finishes, so now Drogo has the opportunity to really get even more done. And a couple of mortals into the main base with a warp in of Zealots is going to be so powerful here. It requires a lot of units for MaNa to actually kind of commit to actually defend. And losing pylons is going to supply block MaNa, so he can't even warp in much to defend. Now Zealots into the natural, and MaNa's just going to go for the main fight, and Drogo realizes, okay, I've got a lot of units in the natural, a lot of units in the main. There is zero reason for me to actually take an engagement here. Let's just back away, not fight until I'm ready for it. And even then, does he really need to turn and fight this? Probably not. It's probably bad for him if he does. He's destroying everything in the main base. Gateways are going to be unpowered soon. 22 workers have gone down. There's no real way in which Drogo loses this game if he defends this attack on this side. So he pulls all the way back to his own third base. He gets his warp-ins over here defensively now. No need to warp in aggressively any further. He's already done enough on this side of the map. MaNa realizes he doesn't even have the army to push in over here. So all of that damage taken, and Drogo is still just in this position where he might even get the Immortals out of this. Now Drogo knows he's safe. He can just put himself into another warp in here, which helps him just continue to put the pain onto MaNa. And this has been an absolute clinic on PvP by Drogo. He takes a slight edge in the game, and he just absolutely rolls with it. And once he started rolling, he gained a lot of momentum, and he just never stopped. And at this stage, I mean, what does MaNa do? Because now the attack comes into his third base, and MaNa's army is trying to come into the main to eventually clean up this prism, which is still just warping in. GG, well played. Drogo takes game number 1 of this best of 3. GG. Of this, as we have got game 2 of the best of 3. Leading the series to the bottom right-hand side is our red Protoss player. Just left my insanity the other day, so currently teamless. This is PtitDrogo. Going up against the blue Protoss player to the upper left-hand side of the map from Team Liquid, MaNa. How's everybody doing out in the chat today? Let's hear it in the chat for who you're cheering on. Let me know if you're cheering on MaNa or PtitDrogo in this qualifying series to see who goes to the WCS EU Challenger, which is going to be played over the next few weeks on the weekend evenings. Do let me know. I want to hear from you guys who you're feeling, who you're cheering on, and all the rest of it, as we do see pros being coronated here early game. And we didn't talk much about the early game of PvP last time around. We were a little bit kind of just talking to the chat and stuff and answering some questions. So this time around, we'll just point out a couple more bits and pieces, and, you know, again, it's going to be a very similar setup. The 2 gateways right away, the wall off here, because you need to be able to block adepts from shading up your ramp into your main base. So this is the super typical way to get going, and as this gateway finishes, you see a cybercore, and the real question is, what comes out of these gateways initially? Is it going to be a couple of adepts? Is it going to be a couple of stalkers? Is it stalker sentry? It's a lot of different questions to be asked. Let's see how this goes in the next few moments, so we'll get into this and get ready to go. Losing 14 workers to 1 Oracle isn't my definition of a perfect PvP. Okay, it wasn't the perfect PvP, but it was a really perfect way to play out the game, knowing which advantages he had, and then playing it out from there. Maybe it wasn't perfect from the start, and that Oracle definitely maybe did more than it should have done, but at the same time, he knew what he had to do at certain points, and okay, maybe it wasn't 100% perfect. Maybe perfect was a strong word to use, but it was very... The main army and the way he used his main army was really good. He knew when to fight, he knew when not to fight, he knew when to warp into the main base, instead he knew when to pull away. And I think that, for the most part, overshone the fact that the Oracle got quite a few worker kills throughout the source, or throughout the earlier stages of the game. But again, I mean, that's the beautiful part of PvP, and of StarCraft 2 in general. A lot of it's just so open to interpretation. You know, you'll see pro players talk about it all the time, you know, and have disagreements like, oh, I think this is better than this. You know, people of the same race playing the same matchup. Oh, but why on earth would you do that? You know, because I think it's way better if you do X. And the other guy's like, what on earth are you on about? Y is so much better. And, you know, sometimes, you know, it fits different playstyles, it fits different kind of priorities, and that's the beauty of can't talk, of StarCraft. It's just so open to interpretation, you can enjoy what you want, and for me, I enjoy watching those big army movements from Drogo, the decisions of where he did fight, when he didn't, and all the rest of it, as we get set up and see what happens. What about the losers bracket? It'll take a week, says Kale Raven. Yeah, It'll take a week. Yeah, it's going to take a while. I'm pretty sure there will be some sort of cutoff here if the tournament continues to go on too long. Just right now, there's no official cutoff, is what I meant to say from the admin. The admin says, you know, right now there's no plan to cut it off. There's no official time. But of course, if it starts to become super ridiculous, we will cut it off. And we will stop the players from playing the rest of the... You know, we'll let the players continue to qualify tomorrow or whatever. Now, Drogo is moving forward, and he grabs himself a Stalker kill initially, but he doesn't really have the Stalkers to keep fighting. So it's a Stalker for a Stalker that Phoenix can't really do much. In fact, it's 2 Stalkers for 1 Stalker. And that's going to be this probe. Just moving back from MaNa. Now, MaNa's on a later expansion here, but obviously that gives him a lot of potential to get across. He actually has triple warp gate, and he did make a warp prism from the Robo facility. So MaNa, oh my god. This is absolutely disastrous for PtitDrogo. He's losing everything. Stalkers are just dropping left, right, and center. What an absolute disaster. The Stalkers now just going to push at the front. There's, I mean, a shield battery or 2 on the way. A couple of Phoenix to help out, but with triple gateway, the 3 more Stalkers warp in. I mean, at the very least, the natural expansion is going to be lost, right? But I think it's going to be so much more. Drogo just threw away so many units early. Challenger. We have to the top left-hand side the red Protoss player, PtitDrogo. Dropping that game number 2 very, very quickly. Tying it up to the bottom right-hand side, our blue Protoss player. Let's give it up for Team Liquid's MaNa. Thank you so much, Dark Ones, not only for that resub, but also for the Cheer 200 coming through the chat. Thank you so much for the Cheer 200. Really do appreciate it. As we jump into this game number 3 and look to see how this PvP will happen on Backwater. I'm getting a little bit worried about Backwater games right now, but I'm going to take some deep breaths and we're going to get through this. Go, MaNa says Muradin21 in the chat, and MaNa says God of Cheesy. Well, I guess just cheese with lots of E's. Yay for 1-1 says Lol Steamroller. Easy says Drunken Furies. What's up, guys? Again, do keep on letting us know who you're cheering on in these best of 3 series. And this is a qualifying match. The winner of this does go straight on through to Challenger. Prize money already in the bank, some WCS points to be gained, and obviously so much more to be gained from there on out with your run through Challenger, depending on how strong you're going to be. What's up, Mr. Caldens, for the 4-month resub in the chat. Thank you so much for the 4 months. Thank you so much indeed. Hope you're having a great one. And 4 months of love. Again, really do appreciate that. January sub hype coming through. January, I guess it must be for January, right? Sub 1 in January, 2 in Feb, 3rd in March, 4th in April. Yeah. Subscribed, I guess, during maybe even the last WCS qualifiers was about 4 months ago, or somewhere there about OSC Championship. Thank you so much, Mr. Collins. Appreciate you guys continuing to support throughout the series, throughout the months. God damn it. Words are starting to escape me, guys. We've been live for 5 hours here. It's been not your normal day of StarCraft 2 with an hour and 45-minute game between Clem and Guru slapped right into the middle of this broadcast. Was an epic. If you didn't see it, I would not advise watching it, but maybe skipping through it a little bit. It was pretty good until like 35-ish minutes, but that's about it. Anyways, a couple of Stalkers coming down to the bottom right-hand side, and we are just going to be seeing the couple of Stalkers just spreading out from MaNa to see what's going to happen next. Drogo trying to poke forwards and will not get forwards here, and he will not see the lack of a Nexus. So MaNa, once again, is going to be a bit sneaky. Robo and a gateway. It worked so well for him last game. He's going to try and do the same again, but Drogo is already just playing so safe right now. We see a shield battery on the way up. That's coming in super early on the natural expansion, so he hasn't even scouted necessarily anything to really say, oh my god, you're going to attack me. He just does it for safety, just to see what he can get. I'm going to be seeing a second shield battery up in his mineral line as well, just in case of an Oracle into the main. Because again, he's completely blind right now, and he doesn't want to lose this game just because he didn't scout. And it's going to work out. I mean, this faster Nexus, he's kind of took the gamble of being safe, and it's going to work off for him, because MaNa is indeed looking to be aggressive. There's the Prism, there's 3 more Stalkers. They're going to jump into the War Prism, and MaNa will start to move across the map. Now, if a couple of sentries here, force fields are a possibility, but they're not going to be completely amazing. There's the Hallucinated Phoenix to get full information as to what's going on. As we are going to be seeing, those 3 Stalkers are just going to be able to deny that hallucination, though. But seeing the Stalkers alone is already quite a bit of information. A couple of Adepts from Drogo going around the side. I like that as well. It's just a couple of units, but it can get so much done over here. Especially if he sees, first of all, lack of a Nexus, but second of all, if he actually gets the mineral line, 2 Adepts can cause some serious chaos. There's a couple less units that are over here to try and defend, though, and while these Stalkers arrive, a couple of force fields do some good blocking initially. Probes pull in, because Drogo knows he needs everything he can get to make this work out, but the Stalkers from Drogo are already going down. The sentries, they have no energy left, so now they're somewhat useless. The pylon falls, and MaNa just has the time of his life pushing up into this main. I mean, those couple of Adepts are going to have the work cut out for them across the map. They are starting to get rid of some of these workers, but is it going to be enough? The pylons are down for Drogo, and there's a warp prism here to warp in more to micro stalkers and all the rest of it. Drogo, what does he have on the map? Just 2 sentries. His Immortal got stopped in production, and that's GG. MaNa will qualify, the first player to qualify through this bracket of doom, as it seems to be playing out, and just